Okay, beautiful humans. Let's practice. Have maybe two blocks and a strap. If you've practiced with me before, maybe you know I really love this elastic, these fitness straps. So maybe you have one of those, but a yoga belt will also do. When to know if you need a block, if you have a really difficult time grabbing the big toe or bringing the hand to the ground or even to the shin without looking, maybe something like this, having a block to ground through can help open the side bodies. But the same thing with the forward fold. If you're here, and you're really like here, then having a block will be helpful. And maybe we'll use it at other various times throughout the practice today. Come to the top of the mat. Bring your feet all the way together to touch. Roll your head from side to side for just a moment. Your eyes can close or they can stay open, whatever feels good for you. Perhaps beginning to bring some movement into the shoulders, and just for a few breaths, allow yourself to twist from side to side, bringing some awareness to the neck, into the shoulders, into the hips. Awakening the body and bringing the mind center. Coming back to a neutral position, the feet come all the way together to touch. Bring the palms of the hands together in front of your heart, and now gently allow your eyes to close from top to bottom. Connecting here to your Ujjayi breath if it's in your practice, and if not, just simply thinking to slow the breath rhythm down, to smooth it out, releasing control of the moment and allowing whatever is to just simply be, and keeping that particular mindset throughout the practice today. And then let's dedicate our practice here as we're in the month of November, moving towards Thanksgiving. I want you to think of someone in your life, and it can even be you, who is in particular need right now of compassion. And bringing this person to mind, even if it's you, no problem. Sometimes it is ourselves, and we have to honor that. Taking the next few breath cycles and just imagining here in whatever way works for you, through words, sensations, visualizations, that you send this practice to them and that you dedicate today's practice towards their challenge, towards their suffering. Keeping the face soft and relaxed, the breath smooth and steady. Exhale here and inhale. Blink the eyes gently open. Exhale, release the hands down by the sides and inhale. Palms come up, vision up, and then exhale. Slowly fold. The hands come to the ground, to the shins, to blocks. Inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, perhaps bringing a little bit of cat-cow to the body. Here's what it would look like if the hands were on the shins, using the grip of the hands onto the shins to help articulate the spine, protracting and retracting the shoulder blades here, and bringing some movement into the head and neck. Keep pressing the upper inner thighs away from one another and lengthening the backs of the legs. Make sure that this action is coming from the engagement at the front of the thighs, the quadricep muscles. A few more times here, slow, smooth, rhythmic. Come to an exhalation. Step the feet about hips width distance apart or a little bit wider if you have some back pain. Let yourself move from side to side here for a moment. Allow the head to shake out, roll out, and then come to stillness. You can keep the hands onto the ground if you have a lot of flexibility. Maybe you come into a traditional Uttanasana, the feet coming together and the fingertips lining up with the toe tips. But also okay to keep the feet hips width distance apart, interlace the elbows, or take any other position with the arms that feels good for you. And then coming to a place of stillness, a few breaths here, just allow the body to soften and let go. Be fully aware of the pressure of the feet onto the ground and lifting the energy from the earth up towards the pubic bone, allowing it to cascade like a waterfall down the back of the body towards the crown of the head. A few more slow breaths here. Exhale. Bend the knees around the spine. Inhale, come all the way back up. Stretch the arms all the way overhead. Look up, maybe lean back slightly. And then exhale. And release the hands down by the sides. Step the feet all the way back together. Palms by the sides of the thighs. Inhale. Arms up, stretch up, look up. And then exhale, fold. Moving into Surya Namaskar, inhale, lift the chest, look forward, take your time here, plant the hands, exhale, bringing yourself back to a push-up position, skipping plank if possible, the knees can always come to the ground. Exhale, inhale, roll over the tops of the feet, cobra or up dog, and then exhale. Downward facing dog. Take a pump or two in downward facing dog, and then drop all the way down onto the knees. Let's warm the wrists up a little bit, turning the fingertips out to face the outer edges of the mat, making some small circles towards the right, and then making sure you balance it out, bringing it towards the left. Doming the upper back here just a little bit, and then maybe retracting those shoulder blades again. Just finding that you can also use this moment in time to get into the spine. Lean forward and back. When you feel ready, turn the fingertips to face all the way towards the knees. And then just allow yourself to find a gentle stretch wherever you're at in your practice. I like to bend one elbow and then the other. Just have to simply feel what feels best for you and also accessible here. A few more times. And then bring the fingertips to face forward once more, and either one hand or both hands come to the back of the palm. Make a little fist and bend the elbows, and then straighten the arms a little bit, getting a reverse stretch in the wrists. The tighter you squeeze the hands in a fist position, the more intense the stretch will be. One more breath. And then place the hands down, maybe shake them out a little bit. Place the hands back at the front of the mat and bring yourself all the way back to downward facing dog, stamping it out here as you bring eventually a little bit of stillness to the body. We'll stay for a 3 count. That's 1, 2. Finishing the exhalation, inhale, rise high up onto the tippy toes, and then exhale, come all the way to the front of the mat. Maybe you jump, maybe you step, doesn't matter. Inhale, lift the chest, look forward, and then exhale. Fold. Inhale, push through the feet, rise all the way back up, palms touch, look up. Exhale, right back to Samastiti. 2 more times. Inhale, arms up, stretch up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen, look forward. Exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees, take yourself back to a push-up position. Inhale, up dog. You can always take cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then once more, once you come into your downward facing dog, take a little movement there and drop all the way to the knees. Let's do a little spinal undulation. Now keeping the hands down onto the ground, you'll just roll the spine up and tuck it back in as you move the weight of the body forward and back from the wrists to the knees, sitting the hips back slightly and then bringing the shoulders forward. Involve the head and neck if it feels good, keeping the breath rhythm smooth and stable. And then reversing the direction whenever you feel ready. You can also start to take some intuitive movement, maybe going from side to side. These are these barrel rolls, one side and then the other, and involving the head as much or as little as feels good. Come back to a neutral position, and then step the left hand off the left side of the mat, stretch the right arm towards the left corner of the mat, and then come into a gentle stretch here. Use the left hand to press down into the floor in order to increase the side body lengthening from the right hip to the right armpit, all the way out to the right fingertips. The thumb faces up towards the sky. If it feels good, you can bend the elbow and bring the palm of the hand on that right side towards the shoulder blade. We'll stay just a few more breaths. Exhale. Inhale, straighten the arm if you took the bend, and then come rise all the way back up. Take the right hand off the right side of the mat. Left fingertips face right corner. Thumb faces up towards the sky, and then bring the head down towards the arm or towards the ground. You can use that right arm to help intensify the stretch here. I'm lucky to have this wall, so I can really push into the wall and get an even deeper stretch. Left hip to left armpit, and left armpit all the way out towards left fingertips. If it feels good, you can bend the elbow. Bringing the fingers onto the shoulder blade, maybe pushing into the ground more or the wall more if you're lucky to have a wall like me. And intensifying the stretch to your maximum, what feels good for you. A few more breaths. Exhale. Inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. Place the hands in front of the shoulders. And then come back to your downward facing dog. Shake it out here. I like to stamp the feet a little bit as I stabilize my down dog. We'll hold for 3. That's 1, 2, and finish the exhalation. Rise high up onto the tippy toes. Inhale, bring yourself all the way to the front of the mat. Look forward, stretch forward, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up, palms touch, look up, and then exhale, samastiti. Last one. Inhale, arms up, stretch up, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, look forward, plant the hands. Exhale, right back into chaturanga or dropping the knees to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra, look back. Exhale, downward facing arm. The palms of the hands never shift or move. The arms stay straight here, coming to your downward facing dog once more, finding some gentle movement and then coming back to stillness, dropping all the way to the knees. If you want to get an extra stretch here, you can tuck the toes under and stretch the bottoms of the feet as well. Take your strap now out in front of you, and then the palms of the hands face down as the thumbs face each other. We're just going to do a little shoulder flossing here. As you inhale, bring the arms up, lift the shoulder blades to the ears, and then exhale, take the arms all the way back over. We'll do that 4 more times. Inhale, exhale, move slow, and that's 2, 3, 4. Let the shoulder blades come all the way up. Arms should be straight. Take the hands farther apart if you can't keep them straight. And then last one, taking the arms all the way to the butt, and then inhale, bring the arms up behind the back body and take it just to that place where you feel an intense stretch. Then hold there, and especially if you have one of these elastic bands, try to allow the arms to come closer towards each other, and at the same time, close off the low ribs, bringing them in and slightly down. Keep the chest slightly lifted, the chin is neutral, vision is stable. 3, 2, inhale, arms come all the way up, and then take whatever movements feel good for you here. I like to go a little bit from side to side, and then I like to do these little circles where I go one direction and then the other direction. And I find that this movement in particular is really great for things like taking the bind in pigeon pose or in king dancer. Really, this is an area of the body that has to be open. We have to kind of free the scapula from the back body. Come back to a neutral position and then release. Put the hands out in front of you. Come off of the toes if you took that stretch, and then if you want to, maybe bang them onto the ground so that you release any tension. Bring the hands in front of the shoulders and exhale. Downward facing dog. That's 1. 2. And 3. Finishing the exhalation, use the inhale to bring yourself all the way forward. Keep the inhale flowing as you look up, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch, look to the sky. Exhale, samastiti. Surya Namaskar B, we'll just do it twice. Bend the knees, drop the butt down. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, press the pubic bone back as you fold. Inhale, lift, lengthen, look forward, bend the knees, exhale, right into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take the right foot all the way forward for warrior 1. Inhale, rise up, pressing through both heels. Exhale, quick reverse, right back to chaturanga. Inhale up, and exhale back. Left leg forward, warrior 1, drop that right heel to the ground and feel both heels pressurize. Exhale, right back into your chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale, downward facing dog. Step the right foot towards the midline, lift the left foot up and point the left toes here. Keep the right foot onto the ground, the right hand, left hand are even with pressure. Exhale and inhale, start to kick that left leg up. Try not to externally rotate that hip too much, keeping that right foot onto the ground and the 2 arms stable. 5, 4, 3. Last time the foot comes all the way up, point the toe here, press the hands firmly down and away from you so the chest moves back, keeping the leg as high up as possible. That right leg stays straight. Let's now kick that leg up a little bit higher. Engage the outer glute. 1, 2, 3. Warming up for splits here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Place that foot gently back down onto the ground. Stamp it out here, releasing that pressure. Use the inhalation to come all the way forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samastiti. One more side. Inhale, Utkatasana. Stretch up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, bringing yourself back to Chaturanga or a modified Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Right leg forward, warrior one. One inhalation brings you up. One exhalation brings you down. Chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale back. Left leg forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Feel that back foot. Exhale, right back down. If I'm moving too fast, take your time. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left foot in towards the midline. Waste no time here. Point the toes of the right foot here, engaging that right muscle, the muscles of the right leg as much as possible. And then exhale and inhale, swing the leg up. We're gonna do it about 10 times, but we're not really counting. We're more just feeling into the body, keeping the hands pushing down and away so that the chest is moving back towards that left thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, keep the leg all the way lifted. Now we're going to pulse here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bend the knee and gently bring the foot back down, stamping it out. And exhale. Use the inhalation to come all the way forward. Land lightly. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. And exhale, Samastiti. Utkatasana, we hold for a 5 count. Palms come together or arms are spread apart. Whatever you do here, try to keep the neck soft at the front and relaxed at the back. 3, 2, and 1. Interlace the fingers, press them up towards the sky, and then exhale. Bring the low ribs all the way to the tops of the thighs, and as they connect, lift the heels high up off of the ground. Stabilize the vision here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. Bring the feet down to the ground and let the knees come out to the sides. Maybe you have to step the feet apart here. Maybe not. Grabbing for the heels. Walk the backs of the armpits as far down the calves as possible, or the shins as possible. Inhale, press the shins back. Look up, look forward, Malasana, and then exhale. Come forward, hollow out the low belly, and work to bring the crown of the head or the forehead onto the earth, looking towards the belly button here. Stabilizing the breath. 3, 2, finishing the exhale. Inhale, lift the head up off of the ground, release the palms. Plant the hands so that the heel of the palm is lined up with the toes of the feet, and then press the hands into the ground. Inhale, rise up. Keep the low ribs as connected to the fronts of the thighs as possible. Try not to let them separate, and then bend the knees, come down into your lowest squat, press through the hands, and inhale, come up. If you watch me here, you see that my low ribs are never leaving my thighs. I'm pushing through the hands, right inhale, and open the backs of the legs. And then I'm releasing some of that pressure as I exhale. So there's really a push action happening in the arms and the outer armpits. 2 more times. 1. And last time, 2. Working on compression here. This time, come all the way down. Allow the heels to lift up off of the ground. Bring yourself into a very tight ball, coming high up onto the tippy toes, and then come up onto the fingertips. Perhaps this is enough for you, or maybe you want to wrap the arms around the fronts of the legs, curling yourself into as tight a ball as possible, high up onto the tippy toes, and then perhaps it feels good to curl the chin in and work to bring the forehead to the knees. I don't know if I can do that while talking, so we'll just stay here for now. You go to your maximum. 3, working on that ankle strength, 2, and that compression, and 1. The hands come down to the ground. Lift yourself all the way back up, and then a crow pose here. The knees open out to the sides. The knees come into the backs of the upper arms, pressing the hands into the ground. If you're working on your crow pose, you can always start with the head onto the ground and then work to lift the feet up first, just working to get your balance. Let's take a jump back, whether the feet are lifted or not. Exhale, big inhale, and exhale, right back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take some standing poses on the right side of the body. Inhale, lift the right leg up, and exhale. Bring the right leg all the way through, rising yourself up into a warrior 2 and holding here for 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch yourself forward long. Bring the fingertips of the right hand outside of the right foot, and then step that left leg back in as you lift up, coming into Ardha Chandrasana. The left arm can lift to the sky, and you can slowly work to shift your vision towards that left hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then framing that front leg. Now coming into standing splits or your variation. The left hand can be onto the ground, the right hand grabbing that right ankle. Or if you want to challenge yourself, both hands can grab that right ankle, looking towards that right big toe, holding here. 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale, inhale, rise up slowly. The right hand comes underneath the shoulder once more. Back to Ardha Chandrasana, and then choose here if you want to take a little back bend, reaching for that left foot and grabbing at the top of the foot, and then opening the chest and the groin here, looking up towards the sky. If it's in your practice, I'm going to keep my vision somewhat stable because I'm pretty sure talking through it, I'll fall out. Of course, when I teach in person, I never practice with you. And so it's much more challenging this way. 3, 2, gently release, come out of the posture gracefully and slowly, taking that left foot back, bringing the right hand down outside of the right foot or the elbow onto the right thigh, and then inhale that left arm up and over, Parsvakonasana. One more challenging standing pose. Just a few breaths. Maybe you want to take a less deep version at first because we're going to go into bird of paradise from here. Exhale. Bringing the chest forward inside the center thigh, and bring the hands behind the back body and clasp the left wrist with the right hand. Look towards the right big toe. Exhale, and on an inhale, gently bring the left foot in. We're going to rise up from here. Keep the leg bent until you get all the way up to the top. The vision needs to be as stable as possible to hold yourself in the posture. Inhale, rise up, pressing that right thigh back as much as you need to. And then if it feels good, straightening that right leg, keeping the right thigh bone moving backwards, chest lifts, vision is stable. 3, 2, 1. Slowly reversing back out. Bring the right foot all the way down to the ground. Release the bind and send the left foot back. Bringing the palms of the hands down to the ground. Step yourself right to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Drop yourself all the way down onto your knees. Okay, we're gonna play with Pincha Mayurasana here before we go to the second side. You can decide if you wanna work with Pincha, if it's in your practice, elbow balance, lining the elbows up with the wrist, or if you wanna go to a wall now, that's also okay, or if you just wanna work on dolphin, I'll show that first. So either you can rise up off of the knees, walk the feet in as much as possible, and work to hold here without losing the angle or the alignment of the wrist with the elbow. If Pincha is in your practice, maybe at this point, bringing yourself into this splits position and then seeing if you can lift up from here. If you can lift up from here, holding Pincha Mayurasana, whether you're at the wall or in the center of the room, we're gonna stay here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, bend the knees. If you're holding at the center of the room. And just for a moment, get a feel for your scorpion, lifting the head up, looking towards the front of the mat, bending the knees, and then taking the feet back behind the head. A little bit too challenging for me to talk to you while I'm doing, so go ahead and give yourself a few moments here, no rush. And if you're holding dolphin, come down and rest in child's pose. We'll take a few breaths here while you work on whatever pose it is you want to work on today inside of your pincha, or if you just simply want to regain some strength through rest. I'll give it another shot. Whatever you decided to do, inhale, rise up, take a few spinal waves here in any direction that feels good, releasing any of the tension. And then let's make our way back to downward facing dog and hit this other side of the body. Left leg comes forward, warrior two on the left side. We hold for 5. Trying to keep the chest and the pelvis both facing the wide edge of the mat as you look towards the middle finger of the front hand. And then really thinking about that front knee, not letting it collapse to the midline, keeping it moving out towards the pinky toe side of the foot. 3, 2, 1. Coming slightly forward, we're working for that Ardha Chandrasana. You step that back foot in, the right or the left hand comes directly underneath the left shoulder, and then send the right arm up. Holding here, 5, 4, 3, 2, bring the hand down to the ground, framing that front leg. Choose here to grab the left ankle with the left hand or with both hands, and then coming into your standing splits on this side of the body. One of the best instructions I ever got was, instead of worrying about the uplifted leg, think more about kissing the big toe. One more inhale. And exhale. Don't bring the leg down to the ground. Instead, bring the left hand directly underneath the left shoulder again, and then bend the back knee and reach back, grabbing onto the top of the foot or the ankle here, and opening up to your maximum. Keep that breath rhythm smooth and steady. The vision is central. Finish the exhale. Release that leg. Bring it slowly back to the ground. Hand outside the left foot or elbow onto the left thigh. And then inhale, Parsva Konasana from here. Remember, from here we go to bird of paradise. So take it easy on this side. 3, 2. Bringing your chest inside of the midline, taking that left arm behind and underneath that left thigh, and then turning to look towards the left big toe. Step the right leg all the way back in. Before I go up, let me cue you. Stabilize yourself here, using the vision as the stability point. So keeping the vision focused on one point and then gradually moving it as it needs to be moved, but stabilizing it again before you lift all the way up. Once you come to standing, let's see here. Really think about moving that left thigh bone back so you can open the chest. Once you're stable here, then you can think about straightening that left leg. 3, 2, and then gracefully releasing, coming out of it slowly, bringing that left foot down, releasing the bind, and stepping that right leg all the way back. Palms of the hands come to the ground. Take yourself right back to Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Lift that right leg high up towards the sky, bend the knees, bring the right foot all the way forward, and then take yourself to face the wide edge of the mat here. Heels of the feet turn out slightly, toes turn slightly in, grabbing for the outer edges of the ankles, or maybe even working your hands underneath the bottoms of the feet. Inhale, lift the vision, look forward, and then exhale, tuck the chin, and work to come to the back of the head. Releasing and relaxing the breath here. Use the strength of the hands onto the feet in order to deepen your practice. Finish the exhale. Inhale, bring the hands directly underneath the shoulders and lift the chest, lift the head. We're going to take a headstand here if it's in your practice, or just simply a forward fold. The crown of the head comes down to the ground or close, and the palms of the hands come into a triangle point with the crown of the head at the top of the triangle. The wrists are directly underneath the shoulders. Begin to take weight into the crown of the head and then gently press the legs wide and up, coming into a tripod headstand here. It's not in your practice, don't worry. If you want to go to a wall, go ahead. We'll stay here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep the shoulders lifting. 2, let the legs go wide apart, point the toes, exhale, bring the legs down slowly. And then just before the toes hit the ground, hold here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the bottoms of the feet all the way to the ground. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. Turn the feet out to face outward. Let the knees bend here. The heels of the feet can walk slightly in, and then take the hands to the inner edges of the knees. And then just begin to press the knees back slightly in a gentle way as you open up the inner thighs. Taking a few twists if it feels good. We're just staying centered for a moment. And then we're going to work to lift and lower the heels. Keep the hands where they are, or bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart. Lift the heels and lower the heels. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. 5 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lift, hold here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the heels of the feet. Turn yourself to face all the way at the front edge of the mat, and then bring the back knee, the left knee, down onto the ground. Stay here for a moment, or come all the way down to the elbows. Keep that right knee drawing in towards the right armpit, and come onto the top of the left foot. Taking a few breaths here as you slow the breath rhythm down. We're bringing ourselves down to the ground now. A few gentle floor stretches, deep stretches. And so if you want to take this into a quad stretch, you can bend the knee and reach back and grab the foot. I'm going to do that here. What ends up happening is my right knee wants to go out to the side. I'm going to keep that right foot all the way down onto the ground and keep hugging that right thigh in towards the right rib cage, and I'm going to keep the chest open here. Think about tucking the tailbone, keeping the skin of the face soft and relaxed. 3, 2, and then exhale and gently release. You can bring yourself into a half split or wherever you are in your splits position. If you have the full splits, then now is your chance to do the full splits. We're first going to do a forward fold, and then we'll do a little bit of back bend. So let's say you don't have the splits. You just come into your deepest position, perhaps placing a block underneath so that you can hold here, and you'll just be holding. And there's a great benefit for holding the entire time. So hold as long as you can, but if you really need to come out, come out. If you're taking full splits or your version of it, and you can take a forward fold, go ahead and do that now. One more breath here. Inhale, come up slowly. Keep that front leg straight. You can have a belt here, or you can just use your hand if you want to bend that back knee and reach back and grab that foot. So you can see here, if you have the bind in your practice, then the elbow comes up towards the sky. You're holding the top of the foot here, and you can work to maybe even bring the foot to the head. If you don't have that bind, now's when you can take a belt around the foot. If you have a stretchy belt, you really have to hold as close to the foot as possible because you'll get a little bit of give, and then practice that move. And then remember that shoulder flossing we did at the beginning, and just notice how you can feel that action in the shoulder. And then take your variation here, holding. One more inhale, and then exhale and gently release. Keep the belt nearby, and then regardless of what posture you're in, lift yourself up and take yourself into a wide leg position. Walk the feet a little bit closer towards each other, so you don't want the legs too far apart, and move the thigh meat, the flesh of the buttocks out of the way. And then flex the feet or point the toes here. Whatever feels good for you. Start to move into the hips, maybe side to side at first. That always feels better for me. And eventually coming into your variation of a forward fold. That may even look like hands onto blocks and chest lifting. And if you're not very limber in the hip region, and this posture is really like this for you, then you definitely want to be working with the block here. We'll just hold for a 10 count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, come up slowly. If you use the blocks on the other side for the splits, you'll need them over here as well. Bring yourself first into a low lunge position. The back knee is onto the ground, and that left knee is drawing in towards the left rib cage. You can be on the elbow here, and that's fine. We'll just hold lizard for a few breaths. Noticing how the hips feel. This practice has really been hip intensive. So at the end of this practice, you should really be feeling it in that area, but that's not always the case. You know, sometimes the practice will be focused on one area of the body, but because of your specific body issues and challenges, you'll feel it in another area. Go ahead and take the hand down onto the ground if you want, and turning this into a quad stretch, keeping that left knee drawing in towards the left rib cage. And then opening the chest, relaxing the face. You can also be onto the elbow, that's no problem. Holding here, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, gently release that leg. Bring yourself into a half splits position, full splits, 3/4 splits, whatever you're in today. And then once you get there, taking that forward fold. If I don't do the splits for a few days, my body craves it. If you already know me, then you know I actually didn't even learn to do the splits until I was in my 30s. I was not an athlete as a young person. I was a McDonald's eating cigarette smoker. So it wasn't until I was about 20, I was in college getting ready to graduate. I woke up one morning, I looked in the mirror. I was just in my bra and underwear, and I saw an egg looking back at me. I looked like an egg. Inhale, rise up. Staying here, you can also choose to take the bind, bending the knee, using the belt or not using the belt. This is my better side, so I'm not going to use the belt here. If you don't use the belt, grab the top of the foot and then work to bring the foot as close to the head as possible. It's not about if it touches, it's really just about working to keep that hamstring contracting slightly and then holding here. So finishing the story, I started running in place in my bedroom. I literally couldn't even run for 30 seconds at a time. I was so embarrassed that exhale and slowly release that I turned on the music so my roommates wouldn't hear me. Roll over to that left side, swing that right leg back, and bring it all the way forward. Bring the bottoms of the feet to the ground and let them be wider than hips width distance apart. And just a little bit of windshield wipering here. You can keep the hands onto the ground, or for more of a challenge, bring the arms up. So I would run in place with the music playing so my roommates wouldn't hear me. And then from there, it was just a gradual progression as I bit by bit started to clean up my food intake, my exercise, And in many ways, that's where the story begins. Come back to a neutral position. The feet are onto the ground here. Hands come forward, and then slowly roll yourself back. I'm going to take a few Urdhva full wheel poses. And if you want to do that as well, by all means, follow my lead. If you don't want to do that, now's the time. Just grab a block, place it at any height in line with the tailbone, and let yourself just chill out here a little bit before we do a few final postures. You do want to take Urdhva full wheel, then bring the heels in towards the outer buttocks, flip the palms so that the fingertips face the shoulders. First, come to the crown of the head, exhale. Inhale, come to the crown of the head. Now walk the hands towards the ears. Plant the heel of the palm to the ground, exhale, and inhale, press yourself up. For this first one, lift and lower the heels as you rock yourself towards the back of the mat, towards the front of the mat. So really learning to take weight into the heels of the palms and stacking the shoulders over the wrists. Few breaths here. And then lift the heels up, exhale. Slowly come back down. We'll just take a breath or two here, shimmying the hips a little bit if you need it. And then we're gonna go right back up. Still holding that bridge pose if that's where you're at and not worrying too much about it. It's your practice, meet yourself, not me. Bring the crown of the head to the ground, walk the hands back towards the ears once more, and press yourself all the way up. Flip the toes so that they face that front or wide, or excuse me, that narrow edge of the mat. And then if it feels good, look back and begin to crawl the hands towards the ankles. Hold here. Breathing smooth and steady. 3, 2, and 1. Lift the heels and gently bring yourself back down onto the ground. Windshield wiper the knees a little bit if it feels good. And then let's quickly rock and roll and take ourselves through a vinyasa. Coming back to neutral. Cross the ankles here. Start to rock yourself up and back just a few times. This next time, plant the hands. Take yourself right back to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stamping it out, holding downward facing dog a few breaths, really thinking to lengthen the lower back here, looking towards the belly button. Finishing the exhalation, high up onto the tippy toes, and inhale. Bring yourself all the way forward. Come to sit onto the buttocks. Let's take a forward fold, Paschimottanasana, before we come into our Shavasana. Toes can be pointed or feet flexed, depending on where you're working. And then bringing the hands to the toes, to the heels, all the way around and taking the bind, whatever feels good for you. If it's a struggle, a block between the legs, also okay. 3 blocks, 4 blocks, whatever you might need. And then finding your posture, first grabbing onto a surface, whether it's the ground or the feet, and inhale, drag yourself forward, and then exhale, just rest here. If you find you can come very deep in the posture, maybe you want to practice turning the palms of the hands up to the sky, letting the forehead, the third eye region rest on the 2 legs, and imagining this is an act of full surrender. Exhale, wherever you are, inhale, lift yourself all the way up. Let's bring ourselves onto the ground. Bend the knees, feet are flat onto the ground, palms face forward. Let's go really slow to the count of 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch the 2 legs out. Stretch the 2 arms out. Tuck the shoulder blades. Rock the head from side to side. And with an exhalation, allow the eyes to close. Let yourself sink here, a few breaths, releasing any tension in the physical body, any blockages or resistance, getting out any last minute fidgets. I'm not working to keep the mind focused, but instead imagining that the energy of the mind diffuses like a light turned on in a room, spreading out and opening up anywhere and everywhere. And allow yourself to relax into that diffused energy, open and spacious. Just for a moment here, bringing your attention back to that person, even if it was you that you dedicated your practice to at the very beginning of practice. Taking a few deep, slow breaths here and imagining with each exhalation that you send out to them compassion and love and support on their path and any benefits that you've received from this practice. Imagine that you give them all away. Never be afraid to include yourself in this. Without a doubt, there are times that more than anything, we're the ones in our lives who need the love and compassion, the attention, and the benefit. And then once again, let go. Hopefully autoplay is turned off on your YouTube and you can rest here for as long as possible. Take your time, the longer the better. Without a doubt, there will be another time in your life where you wish you had the time and you don't. So if you have it now, don't waste it. Thanks for practicing with me today. Namaste.